All right. All you people that had Jose Abreu being optioned down to the minor leagues on your bingo card, please raise your hand. None of y'all guys have had predicted this. I don't think anybody saw this coming. We'll talk about this on this special edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And Brett, he is actually at the Astros game right now, so he couldn't do this podcast, and I'm going to be eating pretty soon. But I want to jump on here and go ahead and talk about this big news. The Astros have made a lot of roster moves, and we knew that the Astros have had a terrible season so far, and at some point there would be a big shakeup because Jim Crane, he doesn't like to lose. I wanted to say this on the podcast yesterday. I did not get a chance to do it, but the fact that all these rosters moves waited till the last minute, it made me think that there was something going on with Jose Abreu. And to some extent, it did. So we'll talk about everything that happened today before today's game. And hey, guess what? Joey Lopefido is going to be in the lineup. And Brett, if you're watching, you were right. He's batting seventh, but seventh, eighth, I think either way is a good place for him to be batting. But John Singleton's in the lineup as pretty much I don't know if he's your everyday first baseman. We'll talk about that, but he's batting eighth. So I think Lopefido is going to be given a chance to play a lot. We'll talk about that, and there's so much for us to discuss. First, how did Lopefido get on the roster? Well, the Astros placed Gray Kessinger on the 10-day IL with right shoulder discomfort, and they've designated Joel Kuhnel on assignment, which cleared a roster spot on the 40-man roster. So basically, they put Gray Kessinger on the IL. A lot of people are saying it's a phantom injury. You don't really know. He probably was dealing with something. Either way, he was not playing a lot of baseball. So Gray Kessinger is the most obvious one. The Astros are not ready to move on from John Singleton right now. And so they want to see what he can do with maybe some more extended playing time. So that's how the Astros got Joey Lopefido in the lineup. And Joey Lopefido, like I said on the podcast yesterday, Joe Espada said, is coming up here to play. He's not going to sit. So you're going to see him in the outfield. The reason why you're going to see him in the outfield a lot is because, unfortunately, Chas McCormick is dealing with some I think some hamstring discomfort or something. So he's been kind of limited in recent action. So Chas McCormick is not going to go into IL, but he's day-to-day at the moment. So you're going to see Joey Lopefido make a lot of starts in the outfield. He's here to play. And Joe Espada also made the comment, Dana Brown echoed it a little bit later on. This is his first major league start. He's not a natural first baseman. So you're not going to put him in his major league debut in a position that he is not comfortable at. So that's why he's not playing first base. And he's not a natural first baseman. He's played first base he didn't take any ground balls in spring training. He's played some this season at AAA. But I don't know how often they're going to put him at first base. But definitely when he's making his major league debut, you want him to be comfortable. That's why he's playing the outfield, and he's batting seventh. I said eighth, but I guess seventh makes just as much sense. So that's how Joey Lopefido got onto the lineup. And we're like, okay, that's all the Astros news of today, right? And then you heard some whispers about, wait, Jose Abreu is not with the Houston Astros. Wait, Why is Jose Abreu not with the Houston Astros? I know that there's a lot of like fake trades going around and everything, or a lot of people on this podcast have said, hey, the Astros should go ahead and send Jose Abreu down to the minor leagues. Well, they cannot unless they have his specific permission. But guess what, guys? He is a professional enough to know that he is sucking up this year. He is struggling this year, and he realized that he needs to do something about it to work on his timing, and he's embarrassed about how he's playing. This is a guy that's a former MVP. This is a guy that has carried teams in the past, and he struggled. And so the Astros kind of approached Jose Abreu with this and said, hey, what are your thoughts about possibly going down to the minor leagues and working on your timing? Because we saw some good things happen in Mexico City. Let's try sending you back down to Florida and see if you can find your swing, because we know you can still do it. And so the Astros, this is what Dana Brown had to say. We met with Jose on this, and we both agreed that this move would be good for him and for the team in the long run. We're confident that a change of scenery and a new environment will help him get his rhythm and his timing back. Jose is a team-first guy, and we applaud him for this. And we know that what this guy can do. And we're confident in his determination and his work ethic. Don't forget that this is a guy that Jose Abreu said this. You know what the hardest thing for me is? And I say this from the bottom of my heart. I feel embarrassed. The people in this organization brought me here to do a good job. I haven't done that. The hard thing is that my teammates see that I haven't done my job, although that they've always supported me and always been by my side, but I won't stay down. So he is going to go down. He's going to figure out what the heck is going on with his swing, and he's going to come back and be the Jose Abreu you saw at the end of the season and the playoffs. That's what he is determined to do. Will that happen in reality? Who knows? But this, after 28 games, the Astros have finally decided enough is enough. We got to do something. If you were a AAA guy, we would send you down AAA, but you're not. You're a veteran. We can't do this without your permission. What are your thoughts, Jose? And Jose's like, yeah, I need to do something. This is not the first time the Astros have done this. Evan Gattis, the Astros did this one season when Evan Gattis, not to work on his hitting, but to actually work on being a catcher. He actually approached the Astros, if I remember correctly, and said, I want to work on my catching down in the minor leagues. And so the Astros sent him down for a little bit, and it was okay for them to do that because he gave them permission. So Jose Abreu is putting the team first and realizing that he is not putting his best effort out. I mean, he's putting his best effort out there, but the results aren't there. So this is great for the Astros. This is probably great for Jose. Now, the Astros are playing a player short today because Jose Abreu is not with the team. He's already en route to West Palm Beach right now. And so we'll see. Yes, I think he's going to be going down to the Florida Coast League. Yes, so I'm pretty sure he's going to probably be working on some backfields for to get started with, and then he'll face some minor league action or something like that. This is low A ball, if I remember correctly, but it doesn't matter. He needs to figure out how he can get his timing back so he can hit baseballs. So his bat speed is down. He just doesn't seem to have the same eye that he's had in the past, and it's frustrating for him. So the question is, the Astros are playing a player short. Can Trey Cabbage come back to the Astros? Yes, not for today's game, but he is eligible to come back tomorrow. Yes, I know technically, but the rule is that if you send a player down, they have to wait yada yada so many days, or else somebody goes on IL. But in this case, Trey Cabbage came up for a series where the Astros were allowed to bring up a 27th player. So this was a little bit different policy. So Trey Cabbage is likely to come back up. So we'll see that, and what happens tomorrow. The Astros have not really mentioned that right now. But you know what? We'll talk a little bit more about who's on first in a second. But you know what? I'm actually legitimately hungry right now. And I'm about to call DoorDash because I don't want to get back out. I need to finish processing this podcast. And so you can go ahead and get 50% off your next order up to $15 when you spend up to $15 on flowers, on convenience, grocery store, retail order, food, whatever you want at DoorDash. You could go ahead and do this like if you just want food. Like I'm hungry right now. It's 5:41. I should have had my dinner by now, but I want to do a podcast. So I can go and do DoorDash right now. So go ahead and go to DoorDash.com. And it's awesome to get, you can send gifts using DoorDash. You can order, maybe your girlfriend wants a shake or some ice cream, something like that. So you could get DoorDash delivered. So get all the Mother's Day gifts all in one place and get off to 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 plus on your next flower, convenience, grocery order, or retail. Just use the code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Locked On MLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms do apply. So go ahead and go to Locked On. Go to DoorDash. Use the code Locked On MLB to get 50% off your next order and up to $15 when you spend 15 plus on your next order. And guys, FanDuel. Have you heard about FanDuel? FanDuel is great out there. It does a great job of giving you the odds. I'm sure the Astros odds of making it to the World Series, they're probably not that great right now. I even had some of my friends at work talking about, well, I think it's the best time to think about looking at the Astros next year because the odds of Astros are not that. But go ahead. It's playoff times with the NBA. The NFL draft just happened. Baseball's in full swing. So FanDuel is the place to go to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks. How many games will Mike Trout, we'll talk about that in a second, will play this season? All in this app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet on an automatic win. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. All right, so just to kind of divert from the Astros for a second, I know we all kind of mark our calendars to when Mike Trout is going to go ahead and get injured. But as somebody that owns him on a fantasy baseball team, it sucks. But he's going to miss a good portion of the season now because he has a torn meniscus. As somebody that had torn meniscus in November, I had knee surgery. It's a long recovery, but I'm sure they have better trainers than I had and better recovery than I do. But the Angels are sure that he's going to return at some point this season. So Mike Trout could be the best player to ever play baseball. And it may not amount to anything because of injuries, and he plays for the Angels. And it sucks. It really sucks. So we'll see what the outcome of Mike Trout is. But when you play the Angels, you want to play Mike Trout because he was actually having a good season. I think 10 home runs. He was having some stolen bases. But torn meniscus, you can't play baseball with that. So let's get back to the Astros. So everybody wants to know, who's on first base? It's kind of like the old thing. Who's on first? Are you? That's on first. But since Jose Abreu will not be on first base for the time being, who will be on first base? So John Singleton is not all of a sudden anointed the first base king. So he will be getting a majority of the starts at first base because he is the natural first baseman. So I think that the Astros may try to get Joey Lopefido some time out there at first base, but you'll see Mauricio Dubon out there playing some first base. But Joe Espada said you're not going to see Victor Caratini or Yainer Diaz at this point playing first base. Is that good or bad? Well, I guess you don't want to have both your catchers out there. I know you have the DH sometimes when Yainer Diaz is not catching and you want to keep his bat in there. But I understand that you maybe don't want to have somebody playing, one of your two catchers playing an uncomfortable position. Joey Lopefido, like we talked about, his natural position is not first base. He has played second base before, but he's more of an outfielder. So they want to get him comfortable, especially in his first couple games. There's not a big rush to get him in at first base. So right now, you're probably going to see a lot of John Singleton, Mauricio Dubon at first base. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Trey Cabbage, he could be coming up tomorrow. The Astros have not confirmed who's going to be replacing Jose Abreu because right now the Astros are playing one player short. So it could be Trey Cabbage coming up. He can play first base. So we'll see what happens. But the Astros are doing what's needed. Jose Abreu is doing what's needed. They're calling up the young kid. They're not waiting till the Super 2 deadline. They're not waiting until June. They're calling him up. They're starting up his arbitration clock early. So they know that this is the time. Like I said, the Astros could be a total different team. It's only 28 games, 27, 28 games, however many games they play in April and March. So the Astros could be a totally different team. What if Jose Abreu goes down, figures out his swing, and then meanwhile, John Singleton playing more often, he figures it out too. Mauricio Dubon, Jeff Bagwell, and other people have already said Dubon needs to be in the lineup more. So Dubon, if he plays more first base, is that a bad thing? No. So I think what we're going to be seeing is a little bit less of Jake Myers and Chas McCormick in the lineup at the same time. Chas McCormick is dealing with the what was it? It's some type of injury to his leg. I think it's his calf or his hamstring or something like that. But he has not been having a great season. We know what Chas McCormick is capable of. Jake Myers, to his credit, he has 3 home runs this year. He's batting .217, I think, but he plays great defense. So the Astros are going to play Joey Lopefido. Joe Espada confirmed that today. He's not coming up to sit. He's coming up to play. So the question is, when will be his first game playing first base? I think it's going to be after his first game where he really has a breakout game hitting. So they're not going to do anything crazy. Joey Lopefido starting left field. John Singleton's at first base. That's how it should be for his debut. Dana Brown said it perfectly. He's not comfortable at first base. Why do that to him on his major league debut? And apparently Dana Brown went up to Lopefido and said, hey, you can't let Jersey down because they're both from Jersey. So Dana Brown continued on Abreu. He said he was frustrated. It's rare to do this, but it tells us about his dedication and commitment. I don't think he sees it as a long-term thing. We don't see it as a long-term thing. So, like I said, if it's only 10 days, look at it like a IL stint. Maybe 20 days, maybe 30 days, maybe a month. Who knows how long it takes to get his timing back? Because it took him a while. How long did it take him last year to get his swing back? Was it August that he really started hitting? So maybe against maybe some lesser competition down in the minor leagues, he can figure it out. And he could be that guy the Astros need. So I think that the Astros are doing everything right. They have not done everything right so far this season. They should have got some more depth in the starting rotation. They should have got some more depth in the outfield. And they should have done a lot more stuff. But at the end of the day, they are where they are, and they're doing the best at what they can do. So who's on first? John Singleton's on first. Okay, so who's going to be on first tomorrow? Mauricio Dubon, maybe. Or maybe Trey Cabbage, because somebody has to replace Jose Abreu on the roster. So the good thing is we have multiple options of who can play first base. So I don't think the job all of a sudden is, hey, John Singleton, you're our guy at first base. Now, if John Singleton comes in today and thinks that he is the first baseman now, I'm the captain now, and goes out there and hits 3 home runs, sure. You don't take him out of the lineup after he hits 3 home runs. But doesn't he have mostly singles this year, if not all singles? So we'll see. John Singleton still has a little bit to prove, but the Astros feel like there's enough in there to not give up on him yet. And the Astros they don't know if Trey Cabbage is the answer yet. So we'll see. So I'm excited about this game. I know Brett's at the game. I'm super envious of that. And I'm envious of the opportunity that Jose Abreu is giving himself, because not a lot of people would do this. That's like me as a teacher saying, you know what, principal, I suck as a teacher. I want to go back and I want to be a student teacher. I want to go ahead and work with so-and-so for a whole year or maybe a month, just because I don't think I'm a good teacher. At your job, whatever your job is, a doctor, you're going back as a or nursing or nurse. I don't know. I think doctor. What do they call them? What's a student doctor? I know it. I just can't think. But you know what I'm saying. So it's just like taking a step back, and for him to have the cojones to do it, I'm proud of him. And we need to support this guy when he comes back. Don't boo him. Go ahead and give him your support, because the Astros may be a better team when he comes back because of this. Or he may be the same guy. Who knows? At least they're trying something new. I said a couple shows ago, the Astros could continue losing unless they try something else. Yes, Susan says that they go ahead and, where is it? Susan says his statement shows that he's very humble and gentlemanly. And I had a lot of people reach out to me on X today and say that Abreu is a great guy. He is a great guy, but he's not doing it on the field, and he knows it. And it's killing him just as much as it's killing us as fans. So let's support him, and let's go ahead and go for that. So I hope you're not talking about me. No, my students don't run all over me. Intern, I don't know if intern is the right word. It's a resident, I think, is what I was looking for. Resident, I think, is a student doctor, but I'm not sure. I've never went to doctor school. I just watched Scrubs and the other shows. But guys, Brett and I will be back tonight with Locked On Astros podcast. We'll talk about all this and more. But thank you for subscribing to us. Thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go and check out Michael Connor. He does the Locked On Astros postcast live. And I'll go ahead and put a couple of y'all's comments up at the end. But guys, I think that this is a good move. The Astros made a bunch of good moves, and we'll see. So as we close out the show, I'll just go and put up some of these comments. And thank you, and go Astros.